Alrighty, we're seeing a huge pump in Bitcoin. I'm going to show you why we are getting this pump. In fact, I'm going to show you 4 reasons why Bitcoin is pumping, and possibly, if I'm right, why this pump actually may continue into Friday and then maybe into the weekend. And it's not only going to be a Bitcoin pump this time, it's actually going to be a much bigger pump. So listen to this. Let's do this. Is the music loud enough relative to the...
Get up, and then they got go Time to wake up, bitch, get up. Get up.
How many? Gotta give me fingers, okay. Wakey, rise and shine. Wakey, rise and shine. There's lots going on in the market today. We are seeing a huge Bitcoin pump. I'm going to show you the reason for the Bitcoin pump today. There's actually 4 reasons for this Bitcoin pump, and it's really not what you expect. These are the reasons that you're going to see today. It's not the traditional reasons why we're actually getting this Bitcoin pump. Also, if I'm right in my theory, and I look at this Bitcoin dominance chart, which is this chart over here, you can see that the Bitcoin dominance actually didn't go up as much as we expected when Bitcoin went to 23,500 earlier. So we're going to talk about whether this is the beginning of maybe a slightly different trend where Bitcoin runs without, or where Bitcoin has been running without the altcoins, and now Bitcoin starts running with the altcoins. So it's going to be a massive show today. Seriously, I was excited. I haven't been this excited in a long time to actually bring you guys a show. So listen, let's do it. You know what you need to do? You need to subscribe to the channel if you're not already a subscriber. You need to like this content. You need to give us good comments below. We're testing a new streaming software. You can probably see that the quality of the streaming software is maybe better. Let us know in the comments if you think that the quality is better of the stream and what we look like and stuff like that. People are saying it makes me look younger. So I don't know. You tell me what you think. Also, today is going to be there's a lot of altcoins to talk about, because when I look at altcoins, so let's quickly go to our bubbles and look at the altcoins. You can see some of the altcoins that we've been speaking about. We spoke about Kaspa yesterday. That one's running. It's up 33%. We have to talk about Kaspa today. We're also going to talk about another coin which we don't like talking about a lot, but we have to talk about it today, and that's XRP. We have to talk about XRP because just look at what's going on XRP. Maybe the market knows something that we don't know. Then I've got a little surprise coin for you. I think we've got a coin that could do... I think there's 30 to 40% upside in it quite quickly. So that's what I'm thinking. All right, so let's go. Let's start. Let's go. Let's do this. I want to talk first about the Bitcoin price, and specifically the 4 reasons why the Bitcoin price is actually pumping, because the Bitcoin price is pumping at the moment, and we came from a very weird level. So if you look at what happened, we got this FUD burger over here where we went all the way down to, let me go into the 1 hour chart. I think it just makes it a whole lot clearer. But when the CZ news came out, we went to 26,540. Now, granted, that was just a wick. And then we started clawing our way back up. And this morning, we got this huge pump. The pump actually started last night. 𝗟𝗍𝗻𝗄 phoned me last night. He actually sent me a text message last night. And he said to me, bro, get ready for a pump. I was like, what are you talking about? Nothing's happening on the market. He said, there's a pump that's actually starting. And he may actually be right. He was looking at the market on a very short time frame. He was looking at the market on I don't know, probably the 5-minute, maybe the 10-minute, maybe the 15-minute time frame. And on those time frames, he was saying that there's going to be a pump. I was looking at it on a much bigger pump. In fact, when he was looking at the pump, he was talking about Bitcoin getting to 32,780. He thinks it's going to get to 32,780 by the end of the weekend. And this is the same guy who told me that it was going to happen because he was looking at the market on such a short time frame. I wasn't looking at it on a short time frame. I'm looking at it on a much bigger time frame. I'm looking at the market on on this time frame over here, which is the monthly. And when I look at the monthly, from a monthly point of view, we're actually doing very, very, very well. You got 40% up in Jan. Okay, we had a little pump in Feb, and so far March is looking phenomenally good from a pumpermentals point of view. So we're going to talk about that. From a dominance point of view, again, you had the Bitcoin pump, and then you had the dominance pump, but the dominance hasn't broken through that 48 level. And remember, every time that dominance taps that 48 level, what we usually expect is the market to start the altcoins to start pumping. Let's quickly turn our attention to altcoins. There are some altcoins we're going to talk about now. So I think one of them that we're going to talk about is we need to talk about Arbitrum, because it hasn't really responded very well in price. Is this thing actually worth buying? You know my long-term views. From a short-term point of view, maybe there is a reason for this thing to carry on buying. And then the other one that I am watching the BNB coin. And the reason why I'm watching the BNB coin is because this, for me, is the decider or the indicator about what the market thinks the possibilities of real action against Binance is. So when I look at this, I say to myself, the market is right now not really pricing in Binance collapse into the pricing. So we're going to talk about all of those, but I think the main thing we should talk about is what was the reason for the Bitcoin pump. And if you want to understand the reason for the Bitcoin pump, we've got to go and look at what happened and when it happened. So if you know what happened and when it happened, then you can say, okay, that was the reason for the pump. And so I did a little bit of investigative work, investigative journalism, so to speak. What I saw here was that what you saw over $120 million of shorts actually getting destroyed, basically out of the market, completely destroyed. Then, if you look at the same data, you can see that the people that started the short squeeze was actually the DJs that are trading on Bybit. So if you're one of the people that are trading on Bybit, which is our primary sponsor here, you are one of the DJs that created the short squeeze, because this short squeeze was actually started in Bybit. If you look at the 1 minute charts and the 10-minute charts on the exchanges, you can see the short squeeze open interest started to close on Bybit before it started to close on anywhere else. Now, if Bybit is the exchange that actually started the short squeeze, let's look at what the situation is on Bybit right now. And what you can see is that the shorts have been slightly squeezed, but there are more shorts over here, which are basically hanging on, which means that theoretically, if nothing else happens, we could get one more leg in this little short squeeze. And you can see that how this works, it's quite interesting. So you have the short squeeze here, the price went up. Then you get another short squeeze over here, price goes up. Then you get another short squeeze over here, price goes up. Another short squeeze over here, price goes up. And if we're right, then what could happen next is we get a one more little candle down. The thing with the one more little candle down is that if we do that, we're going to potentially break out of this 28,500 resistance. And I mean, I've zoomed in a little bit for you guys here. This 28,500 resistance, if we go onto, let's just quickly refresh that and go onto the hourly here, and we can look at, let's quickly just reset the, this is a new screen. I wanted to reset the resolution and just show you how many times this has actually tapped the 28,500. So that 28,500 is a key range. And if we break that 28,500 because of a short squeeze, then that may take us into what Sheldon was talking about, which is the 32,000, 33,000. So that's the first thing that is pushing the market up. And I think there are about 5 things which are pushing the market up. You got to ask yourself, well, how is it that the market is actually running in the same week where we've had, I would say, possibly the biggest FUD in crypto? And I think I may have an argument to show you why it is that the market's running in this week. In fact, I've got 5. So the first one is we had a short squeeze. Short squeezes can happen at any time. This one specifically, there was a trigger for the short squeeze, which was the Bybit degening pretty hard. Then we have another macro reason for the pump. And that macro reason actually lies here. It's something that we've spoken about a few times. And what you can see is that the Chinese central bank came in this morning and added a whole lot more stimulus into the market through a mechanism called the reverse repo rate. And that mechanism, effectively, as I said to you, China is right now on this huge economic stimulus mission. They want to revive their economy, and what they're doing is they're putting more money into the market. So this is all triggered by liquidity. This whole pump this morning was actually triggered by liquidity. So you've got China pumping in huge liquidity into the market. But they're not the only ones that are pumping liquidity into the market. You got the Fed, even in the US, where they are supposed to be reducing the balance sheet. You have the Fed increasing. Look at this increase in Fed liquidity. So now you're getting into this position where you've got the People's Bank of China increasing liquidity. You've got the US increasing liquidity. Japan degenning into liquidity. They have to protect their yen at all costs, and they're doing this by putting more liquidity into the market. Then you've got the ECB, and the ECB rose for the second week in a row because banks are taking on more credit lines. So because of this whole banking collapse, you've actually got the ECB, also the banks in Europe, actually taking on more credit from different central banks and from the ECB. And the result of all of this is that you're getting yourself into much more liquidity into the market. And I've shown you before that Bitcoin is actually just a function of liquidity. So if you look at the blue line is global liquidity. And if you look at the Bitcoin line, the purple line, that's the Bitcoin price. And what you can see is that the Bitcoin is just a function of global liquidity. And for as long as the PBOC, the People's Bank of China, which doesn't really give a shit about what's going on in the West right now, they don't really care about the US inflation and European inflation. They're looking at this and they're going, look, we're going to restart our economy. Come hell or high water, we are restarting our economy. And if we're restarting our economy, we need to stimulate the economy. Japan's doing the same thing. The Fed has to increase because they're in the middle of a banking collapse. The ECB has to increase because they're in the middle of a banking collapse. So what we're witnessing now is I would say, an unprecedented increase in, maybe not unprecedented because of COVID, but we're seeing a huge increase in liquidity. Look at the increase in liquidity. And if Bitcoin is a function of liquidity, well, then no wonder we got a pump this morning. Regardless of any Binance news and stuff like that, which we're going to talk about in a second, one of the reasons, the second reason why we're running, or the first reason why we're running, and probably what triggered the short squeeze, is the fact that we're now getting more liquidity into the market. So that's one of the reasons. Cool. Then we have another reason. Another reason is a macro reason. It's a much bigger reason. It's one we speak about a lot. And as I said to you many times, I don't actually like speaking about it because for someone with a short attention span like me, and like you, because I know that most of you are degens with short attention spans, right? For someone with a short attention span, a 4-year halving cycle is the worst reason for a pump. But we are exactly 1 year, 45 days, 2 hours, 48 minutes away from the Bitcoin halving. And you may say, well, what is the relevance of this? The relevance of this is that we're 72% of the way to the next halving. So we've got, the halving happens every 4 years. We've got 1 year and 45 days left, which means we're over 70%, 72%. And what you can see is that without fail, once we get beyond that 72% mark, usually it's up only. And you can't deny this because yes, we can look for other reasons for a pump and everything else, but the reality is it always comes down to the supply shock of the 4-year halving. And I hate talking about this because I hate admitting it because it just means that the cycles come every 4 years. But it's true. You can see, I got this tweet over here. Again, you can see it's exactly the same cycle every single time. I don't know why we think this cycle may be different. This is where we are when it comes to cycling. We're now in the accumulation phase. We're going to go up. And in fact, I saw another tweet today that says that if we do go and we do follow the 2012 halving and the 2016 halving, if we follow those cycles, then if we just follow the average, then in this cycle, we'll probably get to 133,584 by the time we get to the halving. That is if we just follow the same patterns as we got in the previous cycle. So again, one of the big reasons for this pump is liquidity. The other big reason for this pump is actually we just are where we are in the cycle. And if you zoom out and you eliminate all the noise, because think about like where the noise is temporary noise. You know, the CZ noise, it's temporary noise. All the noise that we're responding to, inflation noise, it's temporary noise. The one thing when you zoom out is you say, hold on a second, let's eliminate the noise, eliminate the day-to-day, the month-to-month, and even the 2 month and 3 months on 3 months. And let's look at the fundamentals which actually drive Bitcoin. And as much as I hate to say it, the fundamentals that drive Bitcoin are actually the halving. And this has been the most accurate indicator for determining these bull markets that happen in crypto. And the thing is that once you get into these halving cycles, then what you realize is that all the other on-chain oscillators and technical oscillators, they just do what they need to do. So it's not a coincidence that all of a sudden, now that we're getting into this halving cycle accumulation phase, which is usually very much an up-only phase, as you can see here. So you see it like we very, very, very much in an up-only phase here. You can see it not only here, you can also see it here. You can see it from here, it's usually pretty much up. Yes, we will get some kind of dip, but in general, if you draw a trend line here, it's pretty much up. And you can also see it here. So you can also see that coincidentally, every time that we are 385 days before the halving, coincidentally, we break out from a technical perspective. So it's not a coincidence. I mean, I say coincidentally, but it's not a coincidence. It's just the way that these halving cycles work. And it is the most reliable indicator. And when we get here, all the other indicators seem to just fall into place. The on-chain indicators, the technical indicators, all the other indicators. So I'll show you some more indicators that just fall into place. So there's a thing called the net taker volume that shows that price could increase. It says the last times when net taker volume, 30-day moving average crossed from positive to negative, the Bitcoin price increased. Okay, so it happened again, and here it is. Another indicator, on-chain, the net unrealized profit and loss. You can see that this follows a cycle. It's the same cycle every time. It goes down, market goes down, then we start going up. We go through all the different things. We go through optimism, belief, hope, etc. And we've just been through the hope, which means that now we're getting into optimism. After optimism, we go into the belief, which is the green stage. So you can see that it's almost too coincidental that these things are happening. What you also get in these halving cycle time, I don't know what the right word is. What you also get though is that you get the market failing to respond to FUD. Okay, so the market in the halving cycle, regardless of what happens, the market stops responding to bad headlines. And we're starting to see it now. Like you look at like this thing, it says, this is a tweet. He says, market is not giving a damn about bad headlines since DCG and Genesis. And it just shows that these headlines actually are not moving the market anymore. We had probably one of the worst headlines in crypto happening the other day. And regardless of how bad the headlines were and how bad the FUD is, it's just not moving crypto. It's the market shrugging it off and shrugging it off pretty quickly. And that, for me, is a brilliant indicator that the cycle and the narrative has changed. And I think somebody else, 𝗿𝗏𝗄𝗧, he actually said it a little bit different. He said, look, maybe this market is actually powered by FUD, which is quite an interesting thought. How is it that we go from a point where the market is not moving because of FUD to the market actually being powered by FUD? That is, I think, the core of what people are missing here. So let's look at what's running. If you look at what's running right now, the main thing that's running is Bitcoin, right? If you look at Bitcoin right now, that's Bitcoin over there. It's running. You have the dominance running. And maybe 𝗿𝗏𝗄𝗧 is actually right when he said, you know what? It's not only that we're not responding to bad news, but what if every time we get bad news, it's actually pouring more fuel onto the fire? What if the fact that we're getting Binance attacked, the fact that we're getting FTX attacked, is actually pouring more fuel onto our fire? So Joe the Irishman, who's one of our head analysts, he said, FTX, the second largest exchange, collapsed. Crypto operation choke point, plus all the related banks collapsed. Binance is now under the scrutiny from the CFTC. It collapses. Now, if you look at what's going on here, all of these are centralized failures. So we're looking at, this is a centralized failure, that's a centralized failure, that's a centralized failure. Binance is still a centralized failure if it gets attacked and if it fails. But what if Arthur's right? What if one of the reasons why Bitcoin is actually running is because of this FUD? So what I saw this. And what it shows is that in the last 1 month, over $1 billion has been withdrawn from Binance. Now, some of it has gone into all the other exchanges. Granted, some of it has gone into all the other exchanges. But what if people are looking at this and going, you know what? In the small chance that Binance actually gets taken to task, in the small chance that the regulators actually do criminal proceedings against CZ and against Binance and whatever else, what if in that small chance, where do I want to be? Do I want to take my money and put it onto other centralized exchanges? Do I want to take my money out of this ecosystem and put it into Bitcoin? And I think that's one of the things that's happening. I think that when we look at the nature of the FUD is all centralized FUD. And when we get this centralized FUD, I think that people are faced with a decision to say, where do I want to put my money? And what they're landing up doing is they're landing up putting their money into Bitcoin. So they're escaping Binance, they're escaping USDC, and they're starting to put their money into Bitcoin. And that's causing the Bitcoin pump, which eventually will land onto the altcoin pump. So that's another reason. Actually, I think that, so you got new liquidity coming into the market. You've got the halving cycle, which is this big macro monster, which is pumping Bitcoin. And then you've got FUD, where if you look at the FUD is actually good. The FUD is people will take their money out of centralized exchanges and they will put their money into Bitcoin. Also, I think the market looks at this industry now and says, if Binance gets FUDed and people start moving their money out of Binance, they start to support the decentralized exchanges and they start to support other centralized exchanges. That makes for a much healthier market structure. And I think that the big macro market is looking at this and going, we actually feel more comfortable in a world where the centralized exchanges are not dominated by one player. That's a healthier market structure. And so I think the market's looking at this and going, long term, this is actually a positive. We're looking at this industry and we're going, we're more comfortable being in an industry where there's not one dominant player. We're more comfortable being in an industry where money is spread across centralized and decentralized players. And for as long as that's the case, actually, the FUD against Binance is actually powering crypto. It's actually feeding the fire. And the FUD ain't stopping. In fact, today, another fresh attack. This time, the attack is from Financial Times. Now, again, they are notorious for going after people like CZ. Now, they are saying they're trying to link CZ to China. And again, I'm going to actually speak on behalf of CZ here, and I'm going to say 4. Okay? That's, 4. It's 4. Why? Because what are they claiming here? They're claiming garbage. They're saying that Binance hid its substantial ties to China. They're saying that Binance executives repeatedly instructed Binance employees to hide the Chinese presence. They're saying that this whole thing about we no longer publish our office addresses in China. So we're starting to get this more and more Binance FUD. And what they're starting to realize is that every time they pour fuel onto this fire, then we get a higher Bitcoin price because the market's actually starting to celebrate that we're getting that. Also speaking about China, I think that the US is actually becoming China. I think I've actually always said it. I said, I know you guys in the US think that you're living in land of the free, but you're not living in the land of the free. I've got news for you. The US is starting to act more and more like China. And the way that I like to call it, I say the US is China, but with a much better marketing department. Now, I know if you're in the US and 30% of you are in the US, I know you guys are watching me and going, what are you talking about? We are the land of the free. Okay, cool. If you are the land of the free, then why aren't you allowed to trade crypto derivatives? Let me guess. The government's protecting you, right? You need to be protected. There's no way in the land of the free that you could protect yourself, right? You need Gary Gensler to protect you. Also, the government's really protecting you by trying their hardest to close down Twitter, to close down TikTok. The government's doing everything that they can to close down TikTok. And what are they doing to close down TikTok? So there is a bill in the US right now which is designed, it's masked, but it is designed to close down TikTok. And what they've said is that anybody who uses a VPN to access, in inverted commas, banned apps. Now, what is a banned app? It's an app that the government has decided that they want to ban without actually consulting you. Apps like TikTok, which, of course, are very dangerous to US society. Very dangerous. I mean, how could the US live if TikTok was around? But if you do use a VPN to access these banned apps, so what happens is you get a 20-year sentence and a $250,000 fine. You get a 20-year sentence and a $250,000 fine for using TikTok. James, I have lost my screen here, so I can't see myself. We got a new system here, and James is driving it. Also, I have no idea how long I've been here for. Someone tell me how long the show's been going for.
27 minutes and 5 watching.
Well, I better hurry up if we're only going 27. Okay, you guys want the alpha. You want the alpha. Let's get the alpha. Okay, so that's enough about China. But just in the US, I don't know what's become of your land of the free. This is not what you signed up for. I guarantee you that's not what you signed up for. I think the last reason why this market is actually running is because of the banking collapse. And because as the banking collapse happens, the market is actually banking on more money. The banks are banking on more money coming into the economy. And so the market is banking on more liquidity being pumped into the markets. Now, what happened last night, coincidentally, very, very, very coincidentally, I want to show you. Let me quickly go there. So last night, super, super, super coincidentally, the market started to pump when this happened. So let's look at the time of the pump so you can see. Okay, so the market started to pump last night. Yeah, let's go to the 1 hour chart. This is the beginning of the pump from 26 to 27,500. That happened when Joe Biden came out and said, in response to the banking crisis response, Biden has said, it's not over yet. So when Biden said that the banking crisis is not over yet, when he acknowledged that the banking crisis is not over yet, what happened was the market started to run. Now, you can't make this shit up. You cannot make this shit up because about 2 weeks ago, this is what he was saying.
Americans can have confidence that the banking system is safe.
So he said the banking system was safe. That was March 13th. That was 2 weeks ago. And then last night he comes out and he says the banking crisis is not over. It's not over. This is in response to a question from one of the journalists. Now, super important for us to note something in crypto. This week we all had a bit of a shock when the CFTC published that they were suing Binance. Now, what we've got to remember is that the centralized players in our ecosystem, actually, if you look at them through a fine-tooth comb, actually form part of the old financial system. So anything that's centralized is actually an old financial system player operating in Web3. That's pretty much how you categorize those things. And in the traditional financial system, it is commonplace for these banks to make mistakes and get sued and pay penalties. So it's normal. We just have to get used to it and not be worried every time that we hear this. I mean, I'll show you this. This is Credit Suisse. Eh? This is Credit Suisse.
Breaking news this morning out of Washington. It's been less than 12 hours since you were on CNBC, 𝗵𝗵𝗃𝗏𝗃, because I saw you on last call. You've got some details of a CNBC investigation. You get any sleep? This is involving Credit Suisse, or were you working on it all night?
We've been working on it for a while, Joe. What's going on here this morning is the Senate Finance Committee is releasing at this hour a new report detailing whistleblower allegations against Credit Suisse, the century-old Zurich-based bank that collapsed and was rescued by the Swiss government and UBS earlier this month. Now, the report alleges that Credit Suisse has been helping American clients hide hundreds of millions of dollars from the IRS despite an agreement to cooperate with U.S. tax authorities a decade ago. Senate investigators tell CNBC.
Okay, so that's pretty much par for the course. It's a 5-minute interview. I'm not going to show you a 5-minute interview. And then you're getting the banking committee being asked, how is it that people in TikTok and Twitter can pick up mismanagement in banks before the banking regulators can pick it up? So this was in one of the Senate hearings.
The failure of Silicon Valley Bank on the Federal Reserve's watch very clearly calls into question whether or not some of that trust was misplaced. Make no mistake, the lion's share of the blame is on incompetent bank executives. And it's outrageous that these people took bonuses and sold stock in the days leading up to the bank's failure. We should hold these executives accountable for the fullest extent of the law and claw back those bonuses and stock sales. I'm co-sponsoring a bill to do just that. But as I laid out in a letter to you, Vice Chair Barr, that, by the way, was signed by 11 other senators spanning the ideological spectrum, it's gravely concerning that retail participants, literally just regular everyday people, were able to figure out that something was wrong with Silicon Valley Bank before your regulators took appropriate action. Now, these folks don't have access to non-public information like the bank examiners do. But when people on Reddit and Twitter can spot bank mismanagement before the regulators, something is terribly wrong.
It's true. It's true. The Twitter universe, the meme stock investors, they seem to be able to pick up anomalies in companies, in exchanges, and in banks quicker than the regulators can do it. But the reason why I was talking to you about that is to say we shouldn't get a shock, and if the price dips every time we hear that the regulators are going after Coinbase and the regulators are going after Kraken, we should kind of become a little bit more immune to it and say, you know what, this is commonplace. I mean, since UBS agreed to acquire Credit Suisse 10 days ago, Credit Suisse accused of violating UN sanctions for the second time, Credit Suisse accused of helping dodge taxes in the US for the second time. This will mark their 54th violation since the year 2000 and $12 billion in fines. Now, this is probably an extreme case. Probably an extreme case, but it just shows you more or less what's going on. So listen, there are 4 reasons. There's the short squeeze. The short squeeze fueled by liquidity, fueled by FUD actually, fueled by the 4-year halving cycle, fueled by the banking issues. When Joe Biden says that he doesn't think that the banking issues are over, then what the market is seeing is they're seeing more money coming in, more liquidity coming in. And as I showed you earlier, money come in, Bitcoin go up. Very simple formula. Money in, Bitcoin up. Money in, Bitcoin up. Money in, number go up. And you know what the most important thing is when number go up? Josh, do you know what the most important thing is when the number go up? James, do you know what the most important thing is when number go up? No. Okay, let's see. Joby, I see you there. What is the most important thing when number go up? Dynaway, you tell me. Hyperjane, you tell me. Angelo, you tell me. JJ Nitro, tell me. Peace No War, I see you. Gabby the DJ, tell me. What is the most important thing when number go up? Come on, guys. I'm not doing the show on my own. Does no one know? There's a 30-second latency in the comments. No one tells me there's a 30-second latency in the comments. So what is the most important thing when number go up? No, I mean, yes, happy, yes. Okay. The most important thing when number go up is... Come on, guys. Is there no one in class today? The most important thing when number go up is respect the pump. When number go up, okay, when number go up, right? Hold on, let me actually get something here. I didn't see Banter Girl here. I haven't seen Arena here. Have we lost the girls? Do I need to go for a haircut or something? Is there something, you know what I'm saying? Like, is there something going on here? Anyway, as I was saying, the most important thing when number go up is, James, can I have some audio? Can I have some sound here? Actually, no, let me hear.
No, the power of the pump always comes back to you if you respect the pump of other people. It's crazy, but I have this belief that whatever pumps, you have to pay respect. Because otherwise, if you like, oh my God, this scam coin is pumping again, actually you are kind of rejecting the pump from your life. Maybe it's a bit out there, you know, woo-woo, but we all gotta believe in something, and I do believe in the power of the pump. It's kind of like, you know, let the pump be with you. I went to bed yesterday. I told you guys on Twitter.
You see, so
if you are watching on YouTube, be sure.
So you got to respect the pump, and if you don't respect the pump, then the problem is that you're going to get wiped out. And I think we need to spend a little section of our show talking about respecting the pump. One person who's really not respecting the pump is Capo. Now, I don't know what's going on, but at some point, this guy has to start respecting the pump, because he has a huge following. He has a huge community. You cannot disrespect the pump with such a huge community. Say, adding to my shorts. I mean, you know, Joe, our analyst, by the way, if you're not following Joe the Irishman on Twitter, you're missing out on huge alpha. I've said it before. So far, only 13,900 of you actually listened. Let's get that number up. Go and follow at the Irish_man. But he said he's starting to use Capo as a contra indicator. When Capo said adding to my shorts, he said pump. Now, look, I said on Twitter that I will not tweet about Capo. I will not tweet about Capo. I'll not tweet about Capo, because I promised my team that I'm not going to tweet about Capo. But I am allowed to talk about him on my show. So instead of tweeting, I'm going to talk about him on my show. And I saw some very cool tweets. Like someone said, if Capo adds to his shorts anymore, they'll become trousers. I think that's true. If he keeps adding to his shorts, those shorts are going to become trousers. Someone else said, imagine you didn't long when Capo said, how do you pronounce this? Capitulation. It's capitulation. Okay, cool. Then someone said, what the fuck is capitulation? Did you just have a stroke? Get some sleep. You need it. Stay strong, stay short, stay strong. And then someone said Capo invented scuba diving because he was tired of being the only person that was underwater. I mean, that was savage. That was savage. Someone said, Runner XBT said, added to my longs. His name was Capo. So everyone must respect the pump. If you don't respect the pump, then you're going to get wrecked. Now, we've also respected the pump. And because we respected the pump, we've done our bit to help Capo and the Capo community. We did our bit. We have done our bit. I'm so scared to show people this, but I think I'm going to do it. So, do you think I should do it? No. I'm going to do it. Should I do it or not? Okay, I'm going to do it anyway. You're not going to do it anyway. So listen, what we've done now, if you want to donate to a very good cause, what we've done is we've created a GoFundMe for victims of the El Capo, of following El Capo. We call it the El Capo Resuscitation Fund. We're trying to raise, we said 10,000, but if we can raise $1 million, we'll raise $1 million. Now, it's for a very good cause. So it's on behalf of the bulls. We say it's high time that we take some of the massive gains that we've all made, and these massive gains are filtered down and bestowed upon the broke and gormless El Capo. Times can only be tough for a man who has continued to call out his bearish yawn, adding to shorts narrative time again and again and again. Now, one does not leave a wounded soldier behind in these times, so we've taken it upon ourselves to assist him in these horrific times of peasantry that Capo finds himself in. Please help us help him by donating a small token of gratitude towards the 𝗵𝗵𝗿𝗄. For all the entertainment, all the laughs, all the constant doomsday call. We need you, Capo. Without you, we'd never know which way is up, bro. So if you guys want to donate, to a good cause, I can't believe I just did that. All right, let's have some fun. Let's talk about altcoins. Let's talk about the altcoins that are actually running. Okay, so how much time have I got, Josh? Okay, good. So let's talk about altcoins. I've got time to talk about altcoins. Let me know what you think of the GoFundMe. We can maybe leave a GoFundMe. Maybe you can leave a description. In the description, we can leave a link later. People can donate. We will give the money to a good cause, I promise. People that were destroyed. Oh, wait. Before we talk about altcoins, let's talk about macro. So 2 big macro events this week, okay? The first macro event that we've got this week is we've got PCE, okay? So we have PCE. Remember that the PCE actually went up last time. PCE is personal consumption expenditure, which is actually the measure of inflation that the Fed look at. And remember the last time that this pumped, the market went down, right? So now we have PCE coming out on Friday. If this PCE goes down, I think we're expecting 5% or something along those lines. So we'll watch this PCE. That is one event that may send the macro numbers slightly off. But I think that the S&P is also in one of those cycles that it doesn't really give a damn. And I want to show you this. So I saw this about macro, and I saw this about the S&P. He says, here are the previous 36 times the S&P didn't close beneath the December lows during Q1. Usually means good things. So it looks like the S&P is also in this good thing. So not only have you got PCE, we've also got the GDP numbers. Now, if the GDP numbers are strong, that's a bad thing. Why? Because that means the Fed can continue to increase. If the GDP numbers are weak, then the Fed says, oh, hold on a second, we're going to put the economy into a recession. So super important, super important that we watch these 2 macro events this weekend while we're degenning into altcoins. All right, can I degen into altcoins? Okay, let's degen into altcoins. Okay, let's go into altcoins. Let's quickly look at the bubbles. You see, I just spoke about Kaspa again, and bang, it went up again. You guys. Look, we have to talk about Kaspa. This thing is just going to all-time highs, 3.2 cents. Look at that. That's the Kaspa chart. Look at where it's come from this year. Let's go to January. Just go to January. There it is. So it's now almost a 10x this year. Let's actually see the fully diluted market cap. Kaspa is a layer 1. It's a layer 1 blockchain. The guy's actually quite smart. We have had a call with him before. Let's just look at the fully diluted market cap. So total supply, 17.5 billion. So 17.5 billion times 3 cents. Total, it's about $450 million fully diluted market cap. So you got to make your call here. We'll actually get the founders of Kaspa onto our show. We'll get them here, and we can get them in here. Let's look at some other altcoins. So there's another altcoin which is telling you that something's happening, and that's XRP. We don't talk about XRP a lot, but I think we should talk about XRP because you can see that the market is telling you that something is coming out. You have to believe it. That there's insider information, or that something is going to come out, because the charts precede the news. And in this case, I think the charts are about to precede the news again. So you see that the charts telling you that it's time to precede the news. Then I may have a trade for us. I want you to work through the logic of the trade with me. It's not that obvious. It was picked up by Joe the Irishman. Again, I keep telling you guys, follow Joe the Irishman, and remember to respect the pump. So, there was a protocol which was hacked. EULA. Remember, EULA was hacked for $205 million. It was a huge exploit. Now, before the hack, if I look at EULA before the hack, now this is a real degen trade. Okay, so I'm showing it to you. Whether you take it or not, you decide. Before the hack, it was trading at like $7 or $8. Then, of course, it was hacked. It went down to $2, and now it's back up at $3. But the hacker has started to give back the money. And we think that the hacker is actually going to return all the money. So if you follow this thing, it looks like the hacker is actually starting to return all the money. And if the hacker does return all the money, well, then you've got the same protocol. Yes, granted, it's been hacked, but now they know what was hacked. They can fix it. which was trading at $7 before the hack, or at $8.50 before the hack, now trading at $3.88. So I don't know how degen you want to be, but if you're a real degen, that could be one that's worth looking at for, I think, probably around a 50% pump. You could easily get a 50% pump there. The other thing that we need to talk about is we need to talk about the next narrative, which is liquid staking, because remember that there is the ETH Shanghai upgrade, which is starting to happen now. They've now moved on to a different testnet. They've moved on to a different testnet, and it looks like this is happening. So I think the narrative of these liquid staking protocols may actually come back, which is why I think that if we look at our bubbles, Frax is up. I think if we look at Rocket Pool, probably Rocket Pool will be up, probably Lido will be up. Let's quickly have a look. Okay, so you got Rocket Pool, as I said, up 7%. Let's look at Lido. I'm sure Lido is probably also up. I think the time for these liquid staking protocols is 13.1% up. So you can see that narrative also starting to play out because of, in anticipation of the ETH Shanghai upgrade. One other degen trade is Arbitrum. Long term, I'm not putting this thing in my portfolio. I'm not. I've said this to you, exactly why I'm not putting it into my portfolio. We had a show about it a couple of days ago. But at 124, 125, when you look at the lows were about 110. So it's about 10% off its lows. But you are seeing huge accumulation by some of the big funds. So Wintermute withdrew 33 million. Amber also. There's a lot of funds. I've been watching this, and a lot of funds are starting to accumulate Arbitrum. So usually after these airdrops, the price starts to go like up. So if you want to trade and you believe the market continues the pump because you believe that maybe there's the last leg of the short squeeze, which I think, by the way, is starting to happen, then that actually might be not a bad one. And then the other reason why I think short-term Arbitrum could actually pump is because if I take the fully diluted market cap of Optimism, so I go Optimism, and I look at the fully diluted market cap, $10 billion. But if I look at the fundamentals of Arbitrum versus Optimism, so let's just take out the noise, and let's just go Arbitrum, take out Aptos, garbage, take out Avalanche, leave in Ethereum. We can leave that in. Okay, so what do you see here? You see the Arbitrum line in terms of daily active users is much bigger than the Optimism line. So even like after the airdrop now, Arbitrum is on 192. It's got 4 times the daily active users. In terms of daily transactions, Arbitrum has today 5 times the daily transactions of Optimism. In terms of TVL, you've got Arbitrum with 1.8 billion, double the Optimism TVL. And if you look at forget about DEX volume, not the best indicator. In terms of revenue is probably a good one. Arbitrum has 3 times the revenue of Optimism. So Arbitrum is much better, much better from a fundamentals point of view. And it's only trading at a $1.1 billion premium. So I think that could send Arbitrum on a run. So if you want to degen, if you're positive, then you go on a run. The other one, which hasn't run yet, and I think it will run at some point, is Uniswap. So Uniswap is kind of neglected. It's become like a stable coin. It's not exciting because it's so big, but let's look at Uni. Okay, so I look at Uni USDT, and it's a bloody stable coin, this thing. Let's put on the daily just so you can see. Okay, like that's the range that Uniswap's been in for a long time. I think the high was around 750, but let's break the wicks here. So 730 and the low between 5 and 7. It's been doing this for a long time. But if you look under the hood over here, you see that it's generating $63 million in monthly fees, which is, it's a huge number. Look at the market cap that Uniswap has got. So for me, we don't talk about it. It's not really a degen play, but it is one that you can add into your portfolio for a long time. Let's see what else there is. So Montenegro Justice Minister says South Korea, United States sought extradition of Do Kwon. So the guys, all the vultures want Do Kwon. Do Kwon, the other one that I think is going to jail for a long time is SBF. He allegedly, I saw something. I must have had it here somewhere. So he is accused of bribing Chinese government officials with 40 million in crypto to unfreeze 𝗟𝗏𝗍𝗍 accounts. Okay, now that's like cool. Okay, you wanted to unfreeze user accounts. But I think 𝗏𝗏𝗍𝗍 says it right. He said, could probably have got away with donating money to US officials on both sides. Might have wormed your way out of all the other charges unfairly. But if there's one thing that both the Republicans and the Democrats in the US don't like, they don't like it when you bribe foreign governments. He says Sam Bankman-Fried's going away for life. I mean, I think he is going away for life, and I think he deserves to go away for life because I don't think he had great intentions. He went out to knowingly screw people. Okay, I'm just looking at the research group to see if anything's broken since we have started our show. Okay, Kaspa is pumping. Yes, we know Kaspa is pumping. Tell us something we don't know. ECB balance sheet is increasing. We know that. Wow, there's a lot going on in the research group. I just want to make sure I bring you completely up-to-date stuff. Yeah, I think that's everything for today. So listen, that's everything for today. Remember that the OKX competition's still continuing. The next leg of the OKX competition is, let me just get it for you quickly, is a MacBook. So we gave away the phones. I think we got a winner in the phones. If we haven't, I'll let you guys know. The next leg is the MacBook. And so remember to go and open an account using the OKX link. Also, open an account on Bybit. There is a massive Formula 1 promotion coming up. It's going to be one of the biggest promotions we've ever done. The sooner you get in, the better. I'll reveal it to you guys in a couple of days. But in the meantime, go and open your accounts on Bybit. All right, so listen, it's been our first show with our new streaming software. Not bad, I think. You let us know in the comments what you think, if it's better than our previous shows, if we should go back to StreamYard, which is what we've been using. Let me know in the comments what you thought of the show as well. Let me know if you're going to donate money to the GoFundMe, the good cause that we've got. I'll see you guys again tomorrow. I want to just tell you now, I don't want to shock you guys on Friday, but tomorrow is my last show. Maybe I'll do one on Friday, but otherwise tomorrow is my last show for the next 3 weeks. I'm going on vacation, guys. I'm going on vacation on Monday, and I'm going to be gone for about 12 days, and then I'll be back. So we should have fun tomorrow, and hopefully the market will pump tomorrow and give us something to celebrate with. But after that, I'm gone for 2 weeks. So I'll see you guys again tomorrow. Be here tomorrow. It's going to be fun. Until then, trade well, my friends.